my arms around you to keep hurt away.
Welcome to Bringing Jesus to a Broken Heart. In the studio today, I have Daryl Miller, who is a college student, and she has been so gracious to come on today and share her heart-to-heart talk about being adopted. I think today it is a really important topic to discuss, and I think it is important to have the listeners here, or those who are not familiar with adoption, and how much that could be a blessing to mothers that cannot conceive, that they can have a gift as we have here today with us, Daryl sharing her story. So welcome, Daryl, to Bringing Jesus to a Broken Heart.
Thank you.
So at what age and how did your parents inform you that you were adopted?
From my mom's perspective, ever since I could talk, probably don't remember when I was 2 or 3, but going into kindergarten, more like 5, 6, she would always tell me, "You're adopted," my whole story, never really kept it a secret from me. So that was nice. I definitely appreciate that from her.
Okay, so how did that feel like as far as a connection to her? Did you understand what adopted meant?
When I was younger, I don't think I really knew the full meaning and definition of what adoption meant. I never heard any bad stories when I was younger or adoptions going bad, so my perspective was almost a good kind of outlook on it. As I got older, you hear stories about how kids are abused and misplaced and hurt. So my parents obviously never did that to me, but it did kind of change my perspective a little, that people are trying to do the right thing and then their kids are either getting hurt or they're not really being put in the home that they thought they were going to be put in. Overall, adoption is a beautiful thing, though.
And that's a really good summary of how your perspective adoption is for you. You know, you really had almost two sides of it, looking at how fortunate you were, and then you were also really sort of conceptualizing that there could be some other mishaps with that, but you had a very fortunate situation. But I think all in all, adoption is the best option because you are saving a child's life. So I think that it's really an important topic for today to be discussing. But at any point, Daryl, did you ever feel indifferent about being adopted? So in other words, you had friends and they came from their biological parents. Did you feel at any point that adopted made you feel indifferent?
Never, only because adoption doesn't really stand out for most people. I don't really look a lot like my parents, so the only time it would really affect me would be if we were like out in public and someone would be like, "Oh, is that your grandmother?" or "Oh, you guys look so much alike." My friends and their parents, no, because my parents always had treated me the same, like treated me like I was their own. Gave me clothes, food, school, shelter, all that, so never really felt indifferent, younger or older.
And I think the most important thing, even though you have those necessities of food, shelter, I think that they probably gave you discipline, right?
Of course.
So that's, you know, sometimes if it's not a biological mother, just the fact that you're being reared and raised and loved and having the home discipline makes a parent, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that that's important. So did you ever feel that when you were being disciplined, did you ever have feelings about that, like being disciplined and being adopted?
I always knew since I was little that I was adopted, so it didn't really affect me. They were put me in a timeout or punish me or take something away, because that's what all parents do. My friends got their phones taken away. But I definitely did slip up and I'd be like, "Oh, you guys aren't my real parents, you can't tell me what to do." And that was just me being immature and childish.
Well, I think that even if you come from biological parents, I think you hear teenagers say, "You don't have the right to tell me what to do, I'm of age."
Of course.
So, that just goes with the territory of adolescence. Mm-hmm. So I think that coming from a home that you were loved and you did have that rearing, I think that also speaks volumes to your parents who adopted you. So now there's some other really great questions that I would like to ask. Do you feel like you've had a very blessed life being adopted? Do you feel fortunate? Do you ever think about what your life would have been if you were not adopted?
Yeah.
Let's say if you were aborted or your parents were going to abort you.
Yeah, definitely not all the time, I would say I think about it, but it's definitely crossed my mind. The lifestyle that I would have if I would have gone to college, not gone to college. I do have older brothers and sisters, though, that I know. I've never met any of them or spoken to any of them, just from my birth parents. having other kids. I do wonder what it would be like to have a sibling because now I'm an only child. Other than that, I mean, I would say that's really the only thing. Everything, I mean, they gave like a car and like they loved me like I was their own. A lot of people say parents wanted you more, so like they love you more than other parents' kid. And I mean, it's the same. It's all around the same, yeah.
Right, like if love is love, right?
Of course.
And I think that you can love anyone, and I think that whether it's your biological mom or a mom who's adopted you, love is love. And I think that there's no limits to that. And I think there's no contingencies to that. I think it's when you want to raise someone and love them that your parents gave 100% into that. So I think
that overcomes all.
That overcomes all. And I think that's where you feel secure and safe. And I think that's important for so many women that can't have children. And look at all the children that are potentially going to be aborted, and that they can have the chance that you have. And I hear you say, like, you have gotten a lot of material things. I don't mean as far as a great abundance of finances. I'm talking about things that they could provide for you, but what they really provided for you was your life. And what they really gave to you was what God gave to you, is that in your mother's womb, your biological mother's womb, God formed you and God wanted you and God had a purpose and a plan for you. And whether your maternal mother fulfilled that or brought that about, see, God steps in and says, you know what, I have a plan for her, so plan B is stepping into place. And I want her to live and I want her to have life and I have a purpose for her. And he used your adopted parents to do that. So when you look at your parents, I would say this to everyone, if you're adopted, if you look at your adopted parents, and if you're angry about that or you don't know who you are, remember this, God makes no mistakes. And he has given the assignment to your adopted parents to follow through on the limitation that your biological mother could not do for whatever reason. For whatever reason that could not fulfill, God stepped in and had plan B. So for that, I commend your adopted parents for doing that, because they said yes. Like, for Catholics, we say yes, that the Blessed Mother has said yes to a mission. They said yes to you as taking on the assignment of raising you.
As their mission.
Their mission. And that's a beautiful gift. And if you don't mind me asking, Daryl, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you feel there's a spiritual component to this? Do you feel God has ordained this family for you?
It's kind of weird because my parents do look a lot like me. And like they don't, and they're like different than you, but like they have light eyes and dark hair, and like we share those features. So I mean, like, I think everything happens for a reason.
So do you have no regrets about being in your adopted home?
No, not at all. Especially, like I said, I don't really know my life other than that because I was a baby and I was fortunate enough not to be like from home to home.
Right, a foster.
Foster homes. So.
Well, that's a beautiful story about a life transformed. And I just want to share with the listeners, if you're someone contemplating an abortion today, and if you feel like there is no other option other than abortion, please listen to the heartfelt story of Daryl. And we don't have enough time in the show, but she has dreams and she has aspirations and she wants to go to vet tech school and help animals. So, and God has a purpose and a plan for her in life. So just hear this, because every child is special and every child is ordained to live by God. So think about it. If we can help you as Catholic social workers, please contact us. We will connect you with some agencies that can help, and we will help you get in the right direction if you're someone today that is feeling that you're overwhelmed by a decision. So thank you, Daryl, for coming on, and thank you for sharing your story. And thank you all for listening once again to Bringing Jesus to a Broken Heart. God bless you.
I want you to know I'll never let go. I'll carry you through the clouds and the rain.